I'm sitting here on Monday morning and I'm still trying to figure out how the Bears managed to out-Charger the Chargers. The Chargers were in full Charger mode, ready to melt down, ready to have an inexplicable loss where the Bears are like, no, 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 no. Hold my old style. I'm going to come out and outdo you. And I'm still trying to figure it out. Less than 24 hours later, who I'm the most pissed at. Because I'm pissed off and I want to know who to channel my anger to, because it is becoming increasingly frustrating to watch the Bears over the last couple of weeks. And let's be perfectly honest, week one, I sort of get. Because you don't play anybody in preseason. You have a quarterback who played 1 year at a non-football school, and then you never play him in the preseason. That makes absolutely no sense to me. It never will. You have a week one game against the Packers. Why? Why are we not out there trying? And anyways, that's a rant for another day, and we can dismiss, because we just got to focus on what happened on Sunday. And where does the blame fall? Who is the one person that we can rally around to get mad at? Now, let's start with the easiest scapegoat, Eddie P. Now, I know my guy Peter Schrager was like, hey, Eddie P makes the field goal. We all go home happy. Yeah, there's truth to that. And listen, as a human being, as somebody who personally likes Eddie P and still believe that he's going to be a good kicker for us, yes, I wanted him to make that kick badly. I wanted to walk out. I wanted him to experience that joy once again. But to really blame him for that, it's hard to kick winning field goals. I mean, not everybody is Adam Vinatieri, and we need to realize that. And so I don't want to put it all on his shoulders, his diminutive shoulders, because he should have made that kick. But anyways, there were so many steps getting to that point. It's kind of like when your toddler has a meltdown at midnight at Disneyland, and you're like, she's being an ass right now. But actually, that's not true, because she's always a good kid. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that lead up to it. Yeah, ultimately, they could not melt down at the end of the night. Similarly, we could have avoided this altogether if a couple of people had just gone out and done their jobs previously. Now, I think the Massey needs to be taken off right tackle, because he's going to get somebody killed. He was terrible against the Saints. He was bad against Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa is a great player. Wait, is it Joey Bosa? Whatever Bosa brother plays for the LA Chargers. I know who it is. Don't at me. I know who it is. Joey. No, Nick. Who cares? The Bosa brothers are good. Here's my thing, and this is legitimate. The offensive line is starting to really be an issue, because if you're not picking up the right blocks, and of course I hope you're going and checking out my boy Draft Dr. Phil and his great breakdowns every week. He's not playing well, and that's not helping out. But we did see a better effort from the offensive line on Sunday because they were running the football. Quick side note, see what happens when you run the ball? David Montgomery is a stud. You need to feed him the ball. And when you get inside the 5-yard line, dog, run him. Run him 3 times. If you got to run him twice and you get stuffed and it's predictable, I get it. I understand. It's too predictable. No, your unpredictability is in your predictability, because everybody expects you. Anytime you put Cordero Patterson on the field, they're expecting that GD jet sweep or a quick screen. Why don't you put him on the field with David Montgomery? Mix it up. Be like, is it going to be Nagy doing this, or what's going on? And I know, and there's a lot of teams that struggle in the red zone. So I don't want to get all up in our feelings about that one thing. But at the same time, when you get inside the 5 and David Montgomery is running over people, give him the goddamn football and let him go out and do his thing. It's that simple. And who does that blame fall to? The coach. The play calling, and this goes far beyond settling for a 41-yard field goal. This is something that I wish he would have learned last year in Miami, when he settled for a parky 50-yard field goal. And that didn't work. And that cost us the goddamn Super Bowl. Because if the Bears had won in Miami, then they would have been the number 2 seed. The double doink would have never happened. They would have been playing at home against the Rams, and they would have smoked them. Then they would have gone on. They would have beat the Saints. We all would have gone home happy until we scored 4 points against, 4 points against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So Matt Nagy really and you know what? He comes from the Andy Reid coaching tree of like, he's not going to be good at clock management. He's going to try to be too fancy in the red zone. These were the problems we knew were going to happen when he came in. And I was okay in dealing with it because you know what? When you listen to Nagy and you listen to his post-game press conference, I feel very comfortable with him. You know what? I know it's weird. I know a lot of people already want to fire him. They want to compare him to Mark Trestman and everything. I still get a sense of confidence from Matt Nagy. And this week will be the telling sign of whether he's got this team or not. And if the Bears come out and they play really well again, and they somehow come away with a victory, then we can, and not that it's all going to be for naught, because I think we pretty much understand where this season is headed. But I want to see how this team responds. And if they buy into the coach, then we should buy into the coach as well, and we will find out. But ultimately, and this is the person that we need to really focus in on, it's Mitch Trubisky. And I made a video the night that he was drafted, and I said I was done. I said that we had become the Cleveland Browns, and I hedged off it. I said, you know what, I should give the young man an opportunity. And then last year when we got to the playoffs, I'm like, look, again, like I'm happy to admit that I'm wrong when it happens. You know, it happens. Sometimes you're wrong. But unfortunately, it seems like that video is aging perfectly. It's the perfectly aged video. And so now we got to figure out what we're doing moving forward. Now, number one, I wouldn't trade for a quarterback right now, unless it's Cam Newton. Like, okay, fine, we'll bring in Cam Newton. Nick Foles, I don't know when he's going to be able to come off the IR, so that might be too little, too late. But I don't want to bring in Marcus Mariota or any scrub like that. Like, do you think the Tennessee Titan fans have lived through their own Mitch Trubisky? They would be happy to give us Marcus Mariota. Let's not go down that road. I don't think that's where we want to go, although he probably would be an upgrade. But in any event, I'm willing right now, and I know it sucks for the defense. Let's see what's going on with Mitch Trubisky. Give him the rest of the year to see if he can put it together. I know Jay Cutler was saying like, hey, maybe it just takes a little bit, just take some time. Like, fine, go out and play. And if you can play all 3 quarters like it's the final drive, then we would be onto something. But you're still missing way too many throws. You're not accepting it. When the Bears do make a nice pocket, he doesn't step up into it. He'll roll out into trouble. And sometimes you do need to run the ball. Like, look at that final drive. I don't understand why you can't play like that each and every week. Doesn't have to be every drive, but maybe a couple of times in the first, second half. And I really do believe that if Mitch can't turn it around by the end of this season, then you got to go out and you got to get a veteran. And the good thing about Mitch and his contract is that he's super cheap because the way the NFL has structured their salaries, no reason to get rid of him. He could be a fine backup. You leave him for 2 more years. You let Nick Foles come in. You bring in a Nick Foles, maybe Andy Dalton, maybe even Phillip Rivers. Let them come in and do their thing. Perhaps take advantage of this short window. And let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice. Maybe in Case Keenum. Jesus. But at some point, they've got to face the harsh reality. And I know that Ryan Pace is going to have to wear this one forever, especially with the fact that Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes have played so well. And let's be perfectly truthful, not a lot of us believed in Patrick Mahomes coming out of college. Gimmicky, air raid quarterback from Texas Tech. Nobody was buying that, and it's fine. But Deshaun Watson was the guy that we should have drafted. And even if you go back to the video, which you'll probably be able to watch at the end of this, some of the guys that I was talking about could have gone with Jamal Adams. Could have gone with Christian McCaffrey. Could you imagine Christian McCaffrey? What if they had just gone with a veteran quarterback? They had Mike Glennon, who kind of sucked, but whatever. If you had Mike Glennon and Christian McCaffrey and then went back the next year and took a quarterback, it could have ended up being Josh Rosen, so who knows. But anyways, that's where I'm at. So let's give it another week before we get super pissed. And you know what? See you then.